Get into our last prospect. Very last one. The unicorn, the white whale for the Eagles that I want so badly, but I know not to get my hopes up. Let's finish with a Georgia guy because we love this Georgia defense. Linebacker, Nakobe Dean. So this is one of my favorite plays of the college football season is when he had this pick six, where it was like 3-0 Georgia for the longest time in that game. And then it was 24-0 at halftime. And it all happened in about 5 minutes of real time. So that was the pick six there. So you're going to see a lot of this here on the film where, again, an interception. Sideline to sideline, speed and athleticism from Dean. That's where you really want because linebackers, the role of linebacker has completely changed in the NFL these days. You need to be able to cover. You need to be able to beat running backs to the edge. You need to be able to cover tight ends. That's what Nakobe Dean is. He's got that speed. He's got that burst. He's got that athleticism. People don't like how small he is. I get that because he's going to get beat up on some blocks. But I think you know what he does well and how to utilize him. And it's all about the speed. For a team that took Davion Taylor in the 3rd round because they loved his speed sideline to sideline, like that's what Nakobe Dean does well. You saw in that play, no one blocked him, and he immediately was in the backfield and was able to tackle the running back there. Again, untouched, too much speed, sack. That Arkansas game, I don't even remember. They ransacked Arkansas. We gave all that praise to their offense. Georgia had no problem destroying them. What do you got on Dean for me?
Yeah, I don't know if you saw my notes on him. So I did have Tiny as one of my notes, but the note right above that is weapon. He's an absolute weapon.
Absolute weapon.
Like you said, anyone that's going to be able to block him is not nearly as fast as him. And as a shorter guy that is, I live in Center City. I'm around crowds a lot. It's much easier to just kind of bob and weave your way through crowds when you're a little guy.
Yeah, very true. And listen, if the Eagles have a really strong defensive line, as they should, and maybe they take one of his teammates and bolster that defensive line, then you're really not worried about him in run-stopping coverage. You kind of know what you want out of him. And I really like the Kazir White signing. Hassan Reddick is an edge rusher, but there's still a hole that they've had for years in terms of linebackers and coverage. It's Alex Singleton. It's Nathan Gary. It's Eric Wilson. It's like all these guys who just didn't work. And they got that linebacker from the Chargers who ended up, unfortunately, like retiring. And they've tried all of these guys as these coverage linebackers. And it doesn't work. It hasn't worked. And TJ Edwards, can he be that coverage guy? I don't think so. So it's just, and Davion Taylor, like he wasn't healthy last year. You want him to be that guy, but it's been 2 or 3 years now. And it hasn't happened yet. So you still have that hole. This kid plugs that hole for him.
It's another one of those my weaknesses and my strengths type thing where like he's a DB sized linebacker, but he needs the versatility to be able to cover as a quasi DB. So it's not really a bad thing.
In high school, we called that rover, where you played linebacker and safety because you were the size of a safety, but you got that dog mentality of a linebacker and you could tackle real well. You called it rover. I'd say Nakobe Dean fits that rover personality where he might be smaller, but you can see the appeal. And it is the speed and it is the range and it is ability to get on you in a hurry.
Maybe one of my favorite notes from the night, just because of how straightforward it is: elite range and closing speed.
Correct. Easiest one. That's the simplest one we got, and you can see the appeal, especially in today's day and age as the football game progresses. It's a lot more passing.
Does it feel like no one's talking about him though?
Yes, it's weird, right? That's what I wanted to do him just because he's going to be in that middle range. He's the guy that we liked. The Eagles haven't taken a linebacker in 40 years. And I can't tell, do people just don't like him? Or is this one of those things where people don't want to tip their hand? I can't tell with this kid. Yeah. He had one top 30 visit, and it was with the Detroit Lions. It's like, is he going to fall? Are they thinking he's going to fall to the beginning of the second round? Because that just doesn't seem to add up with everyone's review of his talent and just like where he would fall. It just doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Where did where was he on the sharp analysis big board in terms of players? Let's take a look here because it's just so weird to me that no one is really just kind of talking about him. And then all of a sudden you hear about him being like the number one linebacker in the draft class, and like he's better than Devin Lloyd, like he's better than all these guys. And then it's like, all right, then why is no one taking a meeting with this kid? And you don't hear about any like red flags, right? He's the 15th overall best player on the Sharp Analysis big board. Hello, sound the alarms. It's pick 15 right here. I don't know what's going on. He's
I think you have a
intrigued.
good point,
That's kind of
though.
what I wanted to do.
It's a lot of teams that don't want to tip their hand.
I think so.
I think he might just be one of these players where like don't even need to meet with him. Like if he's there, we're taking him.
Yeah, that could be it. And maybe
Um,
like you've done enough that you know.
yeah, and the Lions probably just felt fine meeting with him because like we pick at 2 and we pick at 32. You have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah. Wild card, baby.
Yeah,
And they're a team too. Like they could be like, all right, at 32, we could move up into the 20s and snag this kid if he's there, or it could fall to us at 32. Who knows? Depending on how the board is playing out. I'd be shocked if he were there at 32. Everybody, I've never seen something like this where everybody loves him. There are no character red flags, and yet you don't hear about anyone being super high on him in terms of like trading up to drafting him. Like George Pickens, his teammate, the wide receiver, I heard multiple people say he could end up being the best wide receiver in the draft. And a lot of people said he's not going to be the top receiver in the draft because they're really worried about who he is as a person. And Nakobe Dean keeps falling, and you don't hear that stuff about him.
I feel like were people talking about Micah that much last year either?
They said about the character concerns. Like that is
That's
his issue. And he didn't play the season before because of the COVID
it's a whole
thing.
different situation.
Yeah. This, you watched him be on the greatest defense since the freaking Sean Taylor Miami Hurricanes.
Yeah, you know what? If he goes second overall to the Lions, you heard it here first. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure you can get pretty good odds on that. That'd be hilarious. It would be a very, very Detroit move for sure.
To completely reach on somebody.
Yes. Like an insane reach at 2.